Hey folks, this is David. As you can see right here, I am using the NT1 microphone, and this microphone is really cool. So for this one, if I can do trailers and stuff, I would say coming this fall and other stuff. That's pretty much what I like to do, is probably do voiceovers, probably play my guitar on this, and basically do some acting and singing, and that's pretty much what I like to do on my part. This is film vlog 2, and for my first film vlog 1, I pretty much discussed a lot of things from MS Feed 1, but I did not talk about doing the sound production for intro. So for sound, if you go to film vlog number 1, you can see that I did a couple of sounds from one of the previous 3 videos I did for camera angles. There's like sounds I put in for basically a ping pong tournament. And I pretty much went over and I did interviews.
Did you have a good sleep?
No, I don't
Nope.
have pillow.
Pillow?
No, what the?
And pretty much there's another one I did for compositing. Yeah, that was for MSV 1. And I also forgot to mention the music video that we did with Chris's song called Crazy Chick. Chris is going out with a girl and something emotional happens. Like, a lot of things with emotion is like shippings or something. If you guys are familiar with that type of emotion of love and serenity stuff. So yeah, that's part of what I imagine how Chris was being able to involve for the music video. And the other part was I also I was volunteered for as a singer. Lip syncing was very terrible on my part. After music video, like we went over on the film vlog 1, is my MSV project for the film. So one shot, and basically it was like a pre-production shoot that we did over those 3 days. And going back to it, for MSV2 we did some editing stuff. So once we finish all the materials that we have for camera and for audio, we pretty much went over visuals. So the visual content of how one shot goes from one to the other, what do we see that was missed, or like we were trying to figure out how to get rid of things that are not supposed to be in the shot. Like there's a pad was on a shot, and basically there was a couple of things happening in the editing process. So the pads, the one where you see Brett's shadow coming in with he was holding a GoPro during the montage scenes from scene 4. So this is like the arrival of the waterfront. And the other one was basically where we have to figure out how to get rid of Tone's head, because we kind of miscommunicated on one part where Leland's head was showing, and basically Leland is the actor for Tone. Connor was Romel. We have one more character who was the woman was Camille, and the baby was Arya. So basically, for if anyone watches a spoiler alert, I would watch a film first before I spoil some things. So basically, Camille and the baby sightseeing some city in San Francisco and basically the Bay Area. And pretty much what was going on was Tone was very bothered by the woman. I guess it was a thing where he has a mission for Connor to kill her. But in that scene where Connor was doing the other way around, was he was using a gun and he shot elsewhere on a balloon, and he flinched to like mostly like an elbow flinch on Tone, and very quickly he shot Tone, and when he shot Tone he also shot the goons, so that was pretty cool. Like, he shot the goons. After we shot everything, fixing up the visual parts, we also got introduced to Pro Tools. So Pro Tools is basically software that you can use to edit your music. And basically editing your music, you have to create it on your own style and create the feeling of that music, of how it's going to approach the films. So that's basically the same editing tools and properties as Adobe Audition and Logic Pro. Basically, I took Logic Pro with a sound artist from 2 years back in the animation program when I did sounds for Practicum, and basically that was very handy for when I was doing some dialogue for Bulky, which I did some acting for Bulky, which is so he has to like growl and stuff. So basically more like an ape acting. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Is well, I didn't do sounds for that and for MSV2, so I was volunteered to do Foley. And Foley is basically you add sounds to how it's gonna sound for, like, you see a person knocking on a door or opening the car door. I did that, and tie adjustments for the sound. I also did the pocket, basically, and footsteps. I also did a lot of car Foleys. I was experimenting a lot of sounds for car because that was mostly the biggest project of all, to do Foley car sounds, like Connor pounding a lot. Yeah, I have to figure out the dynamics of Connor and Tone's movements, and what are the different types of volumes that you're supposed to add on Pro Tools. So basically on Adobe Audition, I added for whatever sound makes more sense to films. So yeah, and Brett did a lot of sound effects for SFX. So he did basically the gun loading and basically more like gunshots. He did the punch, and he also did the hatch opening. That was my favorite part. I like the hatch opening because that one was more, sounds like a futuristic car sound that was used from my car, and that really intrigued me a lot. Like, Brett did an awesome job doing sound effects of the hatch open. And that was on scene 4. So yeah, he also did sound effects for scene 3. I really like that scene. He did scene 3 for sound effects on the punch. Man, that was very dope. That punch was really good. Like, everybody was shocked about it when we were all showing our rough cut. So basically, a lot of people like the story. It's just a couple snippets needed to be fixed up. So we added more sounds with Foley and sound effects. And then after that, we also did Getting Tackled Down. Brett did the whole thing for that on sound effects on scene 2. Chris did some dialogue. So that one was a little tricky. So I was
Hey,
helping out
baby,
with
what's up?
Chris through dialogue because
No, not
there's
today.
an phone effect for Mikilla that was supposed to be added as like an EQ, like a reverb or an EQ sound, probably on a compression, and that actually worked out pretty well. And Brett did the fade out of the phone coming down. That was my favorite part, and I was very astounded for what he did on that fade out thing. That was my favorite. And also, um, for the music, I was very impressed that Romeo and Camille found some really great music on SoundCrate.com. And SoundCrate.com, you can actually find film scores. They have some really good film scores that you can use for short films and for longer periods of films. It depends how long it's going to take. So, yeah, and after everything was finished by the last minute, we got all our sounds in, and the movie was splendid. It was finally complete. So, we got everything in, we showed it to students, and basically the professors and the parents that came into expression, and they all loved it. As soon as our films are already good to go, we got posters. Yes. And the Film Vlog 1, I already showed you the one shot poster that turned out to be just like Hitman or Mad Men in AMC. So that's really cool. And that's about it for the second term. And this is it for Film Vlog number 2. The next vlog coming up is LMW. And thanks for watching. Alright, see ya.